Hello, my name is Ethan. I'm going to be a rising freshman at Lindbergh High School, and my main project is the RC hovercraft. So today I've completed my second milestone and finished my project. So what I did from the difference between this and my first milestone is that my first milestone I was able to complete the motors or finish soldering all the motoring components together and making it work with the controller. And the second milestone I was able to take all the hovercraft body parts, cut and put them together, and along with taping the skirt to the bottom of the hovercraft. So, for the body parts of the hovercraft, I used plastic Dupron, and I covered it with electrical tape. You can see it up here, so that it would peel better when or duct tape would stick better and be able to be easily peeled off. So, some of the challenges I faced while making the body is that the parts that, especially the tip of the hovercraft, the parts that were needed had to be cut very precisely in order for them to fit well together. Otherwise, you would have a weird nozzle tip, or like the triangle be protruding outwards, and it wouldn't look nice. So most of the parts I had to like measure and cut twice before I got the right size. And after I finished cutting the body, I attached the two motors inside the hovercraft, and then after attaching it, I realized that my thrust motor, which is the one right here, it was protruding out the bottom of the hovercraft, which would ruin the capability of it hovering. So I had to elevate it with another 2 sheets of plastic Dupron, which I put underneath and cut a hole through the center of the hovercraft. And then on the back, here's my servo motor. I also mounted it into the hovercraft. When I first mounted it, I didn't really put much attention into the orientation of it until later on I found out that it had a starting position, and because it was a 180-degree servo motor, the starting position was right in the center. So if you don't orientate it correctly, it won't be able to turn one way as much as the other. So it would turn like 45 degrees one way and then like 120 degrees the other way. And after I finished making the body, I was started on the skirt of the hovercraft. I actually had to remake this skirt 3 times because the first time it was too big, the second time I put too many holes in it so that the hovercraft wouldn't hover, and the third time I just figured I would just have to slowly trim down the skirt. So I started off with a big rectangular sheet and then slowly trimmed it to the outline of the hovercraft, and then attached it tightly with here's duct tape. And after that, I just used a soldering iron and just poked a bunch of small holes into the bottom of the hovercraft. And here's a demo of the hovercraft. So that's what the hovercraft is supposed to do. It's supposed to hover over ground and become have a frictionless surface with the ground, or it's essentially over air, so it's frictionless anyway. And so for my next steps, I am planning on adding a accelerometer to the hovercraft to control the tipping of the hovercraft when it turns, because when it turns there's a lot of air pressure, so the airflow underneath the hovercraft does tip one way. So the accelerometer would help readjust the tipping of the hovercraft so that it stays centered. And that's it for my video. Thank you for listening.